everybody. Welcome back to Harry Impact. I'm Gosaneshi, your host. And today we are going to have a special trip for you. A cousin of mine from all the way from London. I don't know if it's raining, but maybe it is in London. So this is Lulu Socratous, a cancer survivor, which is going to tell us about the human part, the human aspect of cancer. Hello, Lulu.
Hello, everybody. And I have to say, it's not for once raining in London. It's been raining. It's been raining all weekend, and no, the sun is out. It's shining. So I'm calling you guys from a sunny London. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Harry Impact. And Lulu, let's just start with you. Give a brief, introduction about yourself, just for people or our audience to hear about you a little bit, few words.
Okay, so my name is Lulu, and as we said, I live in London. I am 42 years old, and I am a neuroendocrine cancer survivor. I finished my treatment 8 years ago, and I am now living my life post-cancer. And yeah, I think my main purpose really is to help other women through that journey. And to hopefully inspire people that there is a good quality of life to live after cancer, because it's a very scary subject, and I know that your focus is mainly on science, and that's what your audience is mainly focused on. So hopefully my ambition here is to kind of help you guys maybe understand a little bit more of the human side, the emotional side that comes with this disease.
Thank you for being with me this episode, because I'm really interested about the human side myself. Okay, I'm a scientist, but when you're working public health, something people that are not talking about mental health specifically, and I want to talk about that with you today. So I think it's one of the impact of cancer is our mental health, because everything changed in your life. So let's talk a little bit about that. How important was for you to seek support while you had your treatment and after treatment, post-cancer treatment life? How important was it for you?
I mean, it's a massive part of it. I think cancer is all-encompassing, and you can't break it out to just the body part that is being attacked by those cells or the tumor. It affects you as a whole being, and so within that is your physical health, which you are working with the doctors to heal. But your mental well-being is you. It's who you are, right? Your head is where it's all happening. So inevitably, yes, your mental health is a big part of it. So it's physical, it's emotional, and it's mental. And I think we're getting a lot better. We are getting a lot better at talking about the mental health side of life, just generally in the world. Conversations are being had now, especially here in the UK. There's a lot of focus on mental health. Especially this year more than ever with COVID, so it is being addressed. People are talking about it. Hopefully it means people are more likely to seek treatment and be open about their suffering. I think with a lot of things, we've still got a long way to go, but I've seen a big shift from where I was 8 years ago, where it maybe wasn't so easy to talk about what I was feeling on an emotional level. I think, yes, there was so much focus on my physical health, but I was lucky enough to be offered counselling through my treatment, which really helped. And then I think after the surgery, I did seek out a psychotherapist as well. And I tried CBT. So I tried lots of different types of mental support within the health system.
Okay.
And yeah, I especially here in the UK.
Suggested by your doctor, or you choose to do that?
The counselling was offered by, it's just part of the service here in the UK. They are there's a big understanding that it affects you emotionally and mentally. So they don't really let you go unsupported in that area, and they offer you this service. Whether you choose to take it or not, that's down to the individual. I think services are there, and sometimes they're offered, sometimes you have to ask, depending on where you fit into the health system, but they are there. But obviously I think it's up to the individual to want to do it, to want to take part in it, to put the work in, because you have to turn up every week, and you have to open up. Yeah, you have to go. And there were times where I was actually too depressed to go.
Yeah.
But, that's when you need it even more. So, you've got, it's like with physio, it's like with all types of rehabilitation, you're not going to turn up and have someone wave a magic wand to fix things. You have to turn up, and you have to be vulnerable, and you have to talk, and you have to want resolve. You have to want to have, to be there and to put it in. And I think timing is a big thing. So I did therapy in different stages of my cancer journey, during and after, and I have to say, not all of it was for me. So it's about finding the therapist that fits with you and your personality. But also there's different types of therapy. So for example, I tried CBT, and I did the 6 weeks of it, and it did very little for me. That's not to say that it won't help somebody else, but it wasn't the right thing for me at the time.
That's a question. What is that exactly? Because I've never heard about that. CBC,
cognitive CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy.
Okay, so I never heard about that.
So there's all different types of therapies, and I guess it really, it's really important that you work with a healthcare professional to find the right type of therapy for you and what you need in that moment. And it is, it's not a sort of quick fix. It's about finding the right person, the right therapy, and doing the work, and hopefully it will help you move along in that journey to help you cope with all the anxiety and the mental pain that comes with living with a disease as big as cancer.
Wow.
And actually, I think, something that's also really important to mention, and this comes from not just my own experience, but with people that I've been working with in the last few years, other cancer survivors, is, what the therapy isn't always about the cancer. People think that that's what you're going to go and talk about. And some people it is, but, cancer brings up a lot of stuff for a lot of people, and above and beyond the illness.
Because it's about your life, I guess you see.
It's just, it kind of just splits open your life, and all the stuff comes out that you may have been sitting on, and it kind of seeps through, and you're forced to kind of, I guess, sit there and look at it. And it could be, relationships, it could be pre-existing trauma that you had from your childhood, it could be eating disorders, it could be sort of lack of purpose, it could be poverty, it could be just disconnection from society or your old life. There's so many different
issues that you have, it may be your life.
It could be all sorts of things. We're all different, so our emotional baggage is different, and so that kind of comes out, I guess, in different ways during the whole cancer experience. So the therapy could be bigger than just talking about cancer. It could be talking about any number of things that you are facing that cancer brings with it.
Okay. So let's go, to the second question I want to have. And it's something that actually surprised me, and I learned it from talking to you another time about, after you have your treatment, your body is catching up, let's say, and you told me, like, for instance, your hair, let's say, when they grow up, they don't grow up as they were before. Something I learned from you. So I just want to ask you about your body. When it recovers, how does it respond?
Wow, big question, because it's not a one size fits all. Everybody's bodies, is that right? Respond differently. So our bodies are all different going into a cancer diagnosis. cancer, you know, you can have two people with identical cancers and their bodies respond differently to it because they are different people. They are different weights and ages and different other conditions and different genetics and all this stuff. So you'll never have exactly the same experience, and so your body will react differently. But then, you know, as you know, because you guys are all scientists, you know, your body is constantly evolving and your body's not the same year on year. So your physical response to cancer changes. Your body will respond differently at different stages of the game. You know, you've got the treatment, which is really aggressive. You've got operations, you've got all sorts of things, and they kind of layer upon each other. So yeah, your body takes a really big battering, and when you come out of it, there are so many different changes you see in your body, and that looks differently depending on what treatment you've had. You touched on hair. That's a really big common factor for people with certain chemotherapies. Not all chemotherapies make you lose your hair, which was quite interesting. I didn't know that until I got diagnosed. I just assumed that, you know, you did chemo, you lost your hair, that was part of the process. You have some people who do lose their hair if they have had certain treatments, and sometimes it grows back curly. So you'll, you know, and you can have straight hair your whole life and it comes back curly. I've seen some people with just like the most incredible hair afterwards, like literally double the strength and double the thickness it was before. For me, it was the other way around. So I didn't lose all my hair. I started losing like along the hairline. That was my particular type of chemo, and my hair never kind of really recovered in terms of the thickness and the amount. But yeah, so it looks different to different people. Your skin changes. A lot of the drugs make you, it's almost like really dehydrate. You're so dehydrated, so your skin massively changes. A lot of the steroids affect people with their weight. So you have a lot of people who are struggling to either gain weight or lose weight after treatment. On the back of that, there is all sorts of eating disorders, I guess people then associate with the sickness. So yeah, your body, yeah, but also you have to remember that your body is amazing, and it does an incredible job of healing itself. And it's you know, it's great that to help your body heal itself and seek out the right sort of professionals that you need in that journey. And just take it sort of a step at a time, because obviously you've got the external things, especially for women, that's really important. You know, our skin, our weight, our hair, our complexion.
And we worry about it a lot in our life.
I mean, you do. And it's like, you know, people lose their nails after chemo.
I don't know.
You can get hormone acne. I mean, it's just a whole layer of, but this is all the external stuff, which I think people go, what? You're talking about a life, like an illness that can kill you, and you're sitting here talking about hair and nails and stuff. But actually, you know what, when you are fighting for your life and you're that sick and you're trying to cope, and then your body doesn't look like you
change a lot.
It can really help. It can really affect your mental well-being. It affects how how you feel, and how you feel then affects how you fight, you know. So it's all encompassing, and
like a circle.
So then you've got all of that stuff, and then you've got all the internal stuff that's going on. So your body recovering, and it takes a lot longer than I think people realize unless you go through it. And it was a big shock for me how many years I needed to invest in myself to heal my body.
So how long did it take you to heal your body?
Years.
After you had treatment.
I think there was a lot of internal healing for me, because it was my gastric system. There was a lot of removal.
I saw your post about broccoli in the morning. Was it yesterday?
Oh yeah, so I had broccoli for so my cancer was from the pancreas. So they removed most of my pancreas. They removed some of the surrounding area. They did they removed part of my my bowels and my colon and reconstructed it. So my internal healing took a long time. To heal my gastric system took a few years, and I'm still working on it, and this is 8 years later. So after all the surgery and everything, I could barely barely digest any food. I was living off those little milkshakes, which are just, I guess, those nutritional ones from the hospital. Food became a real big issue. I couldn't digest it. I was too scared to eat. I spent a couple of years being really, probably more sick after than I was before, because I couldn't eat. I was not getting the nutrients I needed. I was exhausted. I was in bed a lot. I was in a lot of pain. So that took a couple of years, I think, to start the journey. I'd say, I think 5 years. I think around the 5-year mark after treatment, I noticed a much healthier body. And I was like, okay, I'm here. You know, it might never be exactly as it was before, but I felt that I had a healthy body around the 5-year mark. And then, so little things for me, it's like I'm still introducing food into my diet, which I never thought I could eat again. So broccoli being one of them. It's not something, it caused me so much pain. So I'm here 8 years later and I'm eating broccoli and I'm like, wow, it kind of, I know it sounds really silly and small, but
I think
it was a reminder for me, like how far my body has come from 8 years ago when I was living off these little milkshakes, never thinking that I could eat a lot of food,
But I think if you have this experience in your life, I think that's what you are missing, the little things like broccoli or, some, I don't know, pizza, I don't know. Or, I walk at the park. I mean, this small thing is what you miss in your life.
Yeah, and when there's a lot of them, when you're robbed of all the small things, not just one or two, you're robbed of so much.
Yeah, of course.
For me, it was like I couldn't eat out. I couldn't meet friends and go for meals because of the trauma of getting really sick after I ate, and I didn't want to be away from home, and I couldn't go on holiday, and all these little things that something so small can just throw on you. And then you've got all the other stuff as well. So there's so much to deal with afterwards that it's really overwhelming. And I think what I see a lot of people do, and I did as well, is you try to fix everything in one go, and it's just too much. And so
just
I think
step by step, I guess, later.
Breaking it down. And that's why it takes so long, because you almost have to do one thing at a time after time, but it's cumulative, and it's quite, once you start seeing things change, it's quite exciting.
I understand that from the weight loss perspective. This is how it would be. Because you are doing stuff that you never imagined you would do your body in a way. I mean, it's not the same thing, of course, I'm not saying that, but because your body changed again. I can relate to that part.
No, I think there's actually a lot more than you realize. I know that it's not coming from illness, but you're still coming from, I know that, but that's not to say there isn't a lot of stuff that you can, similarities that you can relate to. And so I think the similarities with that would be whenever you're making any changes in your life, whether it doesn't matter where you're coming from, change is huge. You've got to undo so many habits of a lifetime.
Really, yes.
And a lot of them are mental as well, and you can't do that overnight. It's too much. And it's a dance. It's a bit of a 2-step forward, 1 step back.
Wow.
You can't just wake up one day and go, right, that's it. Everything I've been doing and everything I think and everything I've been learned over the last 30, 40, 50 years, I'm now going to do it all differently as of today. And it doesn't work that way. And so it's a process, which is what you're saying, right? It's a process. You've got to tackle each bit one at a time. And then when you start seeing changes, it gets really exciting.
Yeah, you get, your passion, everything starts to, because you want to continue because of the changes you see.
Yeah, but hopefully that's what that's what happens. I think when we try to do too much too soon, we set ourselves up to fail, and then we get defeated and we go, we can't do this. If you break it down and just focus on one part of your life that you're trying to change, get that sorted, and then you move on to the next bit and the next bit, and then hopefully you get onto a really exciting momentum.
Sure. After maybe for you, at the end of the 5-year, let's say.
I'm still doing it now. I think it's a forever process if you want it to be. Everyone's different, and the changes they want to make are different, and no one's recovery looks the same. you know, you can go, oh yeah, I fixed that one part of my life now, I'm done, I'm just gonna move on with my life. Yeah, I think I don't work at it as hard, because I've done all the changes, and now I'm in a place 8 years later where I'm living the life that I was building. Yeah. And I'm reaping the rewards of the life that I have spent the last 8 years living. I've done the changes that I wanted to make, and I'm very happy in them. I'm living in them now, because you don't want to get caught up in the constant improvement.
You need to rest from all that battle.
Yeah, you need to live in the joy of the stuff that you've been building, the life that you've built for yourself, and the changes and the dietary changes and the exercise. It's great, do them, but then they should then become part of your life. They become part of you. Yes. So they're no longer like work. It's just your life now.
So thank you. Let's just finish up with, like, for you giving some kind of positive messages to people that are fighting cancer, or maybe they are survivors like you, but you know, they have that long time to have that life they wanted to, you know, reach.
Yeah. Oh gosh, it's quite hard. Look, there's no denying that cancer is ugly. Okay. So there's no, I'm not sitting here going, oh, it's an amazing experience once you're through it. It's an ugly experience. And there's a lot of fear attached to it. But I want people who are either in it now or sort of coming towards the end of the treatment, I want to say to them, as someone who is 8 years down the line, that there is such a good quality of life to lead afterwards. Where you are now is temporary. It's not always going to be like this. There is a good quality of life.
They're not going to live.
No, life is. No, I never thought, there was some really bleak moments for me, and I never thought it would get better. And I thought that was what my life was going to be. And things are temporary, things will change, things do get better. And there is a really good life to be had after cancer or living with cancer. There's no going back to who you were before, but the good news is we get to decide the kind of life we want to build after for ourselves, and on a personal level. And that's actually quite exciting when you get to that place.
Yeah. Thank you, Lulu. Thank you so much for this interview.
It's okay.
I think you inspire and motivate people out there, I'm sure, because you are as a person like this, but also that experience affects so many people. So I'm guessing we have touched a lot of people.
Oh, I hope so. You know, this is the only reason I share my story. It took a lot because I'm normally quite a private person, but I forced myself after cancer to share my recovery and share my story wherever possible, because I want people to know that there is greatness to be had afterwards. So hopefully it does help someone out there. And we have to remember that cancer is on the increase. I think here in the UK, we're moving from 1 to 3 to 1 to 2 people will get it in their lifetime. But the good news is that we're making advancements and people now are living afterwards and with it and longer. So yeah.
Science is doing miracles now for cancer.
Yeah. Thank you to the science, to everyone out there from a science background who is part of, I guess, sort of the solution and helping. You know, none of us would be here if it wasn't for the scientists. So yeah, but there's a beauty in, I think, connecting and sharing and helping one another through life.
Thank you again with me for being on Her Impact. Thank you for everybody that is listening to this episode with Lulu Socratous, a cancer survivor that inspires and motivates us about show us some light about the life as a cancer patient and survivor. And I'll see you next time with another episode here. Make sense, you're super powered. Don't forget that. Bye.
Bye.